with your answer, you've touched on the topic of economic impact here in Kenya, but I want to dive a little bit deeper into this topic of economic impact. So, beyond the families you touch, the individuals, who are employed here, people spending money in villages and such, and at Mama Mboga, is there a specific metric, on what your team internally recognizes as, hey, this is our economic impact here in Kenya? For example, we contribute X amount of shillings to NSSF each year. We do this. I'm curious, do you have a metric for that?
Yeah, there's various metrics. Maybe the first big metric is the pure output of our business. What we produce and what we sell.
GDP.
Yes, the contribution to the economy in terms of foreign exchange. So if you look at the number of containers that we are exporting, on an annual basis, both the canned product and the fresh product, we're looking at around 6,000 containers.
Wow.
That's going through the Mombasa port. So to put that in perspective, that's 6,000 trucks, or up to 100,000 tons of finished product that's leaving the
You probably have dedicated customs officers employed just for Del Monte.
Yes, we need to. We need to, and quite often we win the Exporter of the Year award.
Okay.
From the Kenya Ports Authority, and also imports. We import a huge amount of raw materials, farming materials, and other materials. Apart from using the local suppliers as well. So that generates more income in terms of duties, and other businesses managing to operate and also earn an income. So the sheer volume of export, that means foreign currency coming back into Kenya. So if you look at what we also purchase locally, per annum we spending about 8 billion shillings on various supplies to run the business. Examples of that could be from protective clothing to ingredients in the cannery, in our canteens. So there's so much that we're spending on. We also do many CSR activities. One of the biggest ones is just maintaining the roads within the community. Like
the road we came on this morning, maybe.
Most of the public roads, but the non-surfaced roads.
Okay.
So the one you came on was a surfaced road, but still we do try and maintain that as well to ensure that it's cleaned. But at least 100 million shillings a year on just road maintenance.
Wow.
Then there's many other CSR activities that we do, like supplying clean water to communities.
Now, Wayne, earlier you had mentioned, providing transport to your employees and such. And I had heard earlier that you have now switched to electric vehicles for, staff transport and such. I'm curious, tell us more about that switch and how it plays into your overall sustainability goals here at Del Monte.
Yeah, definitely. We're trying to explore ways in which we can be more sustainable, and there are many initiatives that we have, and going electric on the buses was definitely one of them. We haven't entirely moved over to electric buses because we we are operating in a very rugged agricultural environment.
Yeah.
Where the roads are, not always very smooth, and so we have partially moved over. This is a period of just testing how the buses perform, but it's the long-term intention to move totally over to electric buses and have various charging points, within the plantation. So this is one of our ways where we can, go green, reduce carbon emissions, and the electric buses are, they're quiet, they're very comfortable as well compared to the old diesel buses. So, our employees are the ones that get to travel on the electric buses. They really feel comfortable. So it's also, another way of not just sustainability, but also employee well-being. So the electric buses are really working well for us.
Awesome. Well, that's good to hear. I definitely know you need to test them for sure. Because I've ridden in a few. I was like, yeah, this works on a paved road, but put some dirt under it.
Yeah, definitely.
The story may not be the same. So I think that's very important. Now, continuing on the topic of kind of your sustainability agenda, what are some of the key themes of your sustainability agenda? And how does this play into the longer term kind of goals, targets, and strategy for Del Monte, not just here in Kenya, but at the group global level?
Yeah. Very important that you mentioned global, because, the sustainability efforts is not just focused on Kenya for sure. And we also have a CSO, a Chief Sustainability Officer, situated in our corporate office that oversees the importance of sustainability. But coming back to Kenya, there are so many initiatives that we have started now in terms of sustainability. The buses, obviously, one example. By the end of May, we will be installing a 1 megawatt solar farm on the roofs of the cannery and the warehouses. So this will be now commissioned very soon. So that's quite exciting. But I would say the main goal and focus on sustainability is in the agricultural practices. So in agricultural practices, there are many activities. We were certified a couple of years ago under the sustainable, the SGC certification, which is similar to the rainforest certification. So it's already started a couple of years ago. Now our main goal is, apart from sustainable farming practices, and examples of that is, you have a piece of land and you don't utilize the whole land just for agricultural practices. You leave a certain percentage of land for natural habitat of flora, fauna, birds. So that's important. Growing, planting trees. But our ultimate goal is to try and look at all the biomass, what we used to call waste in the past. We're now trying to look at how we can monetize waste and turn that waste into a byproduct. So if we can turn waste into a byproduct, a lot of people look at sustainability as an added cost to a business. But it doesn't need to be an added cost. It can actually be an income to the business, or even if you just break even, there's still something that you gain in for the environment. So another example where we're trying to monetize waste is we have, in the whole cannery process, you have pineapples going in Some of the pineapple gets into a can.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the pineapple goes a different route and gets squeezed for juice extraction. And eventually, out of the whole process, you're left with a pulp, which is a lot of fiber, organic material. So we've recently commissioned a biofertilizer facility, and this facility, the aim of it is to use some of that pulp that is coming out of the cannery, and we talk in big volumes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Monte Kenya, we growing and producing at least 200,000 tons of pineapples a year. So the byproduct that is generated just from the cannery is about 30,000 tons per year.
Wow.
So that's a substantial amount of biomass, and we're trying to take some of that biomass and use that as a base for organic biofertilizer.
Okay.
So this is one of the examples of, you know, how we're trying to make our operation more sustainable for the long run.